baby. 3, 2, 1.
Hello guys, Junior back again. This week we've got a PC Engine review. This game is Tiger Road, or Toro no Michi or Maichi, which was a Capcom arcade game that came out in 1987, as you'll see over there. Got converted to the PC Engine in 1990 by Victor Musical Industries. I say the arcade one was a bit of a slow-paced hack and slash game. The PC Engine version is completely different. They changed the game completely. You've roughly got the same character, but he does look a lot different, and he does jump around a lot higher and stuff. So it's not really like the arcade. They sort of changed it, which might be a good thing. But this game does suffer from a few problems. So we'll start it up. As you say, use your little guy and his little weapon. You can jump quite high. You can do little hops, like so. You get 3 different weapons. You get a sword, which is not that great, because if anything's really close to you, you basically can't hit it. Because the collision detection on this game is not the best. And you get like a ball and chain, which is it can be quite a useful weapon actually. But probably this weapon is the best. You can get a power-up icon, which will give you slightly larger reach, which is quite useful. You've got to watch in this game as well. There's a lot of respawning enemies, as you've just seen then, which can be a bit annoying. So you basically don't hang around and just keep rushing through the levels. One thing this game does suffer from its difficulty. It's a pretty difficult game, mainly because there's a hell of a lot of things going on the screen and the collision detection. So here's your flying levels, which are quite hard to dodge. Oops, I'm gonna die in a minute, I think. Yep. At least when you hit those spikes, you don't lose too much energy. What, enough room to get through the spikes then. Ooh. Now that's the chain weapon you get. Right, here comes super annoying platforming. I say this. It does unfairly chuck enemies right in front of you, like you've seen then. Which does make this game overly difficult. And you can fall off the platforms. I haven't managed to get too far on this. This is the actual PC Engine Japanese version. I'll go into the American version after we run through this. See what I mean about super annoying? I don't know what they did with this version. I think they tried to make it just way too hard by just chucking loads of enemies in unfair places at you. Which just make the game overly difficult. It's got a hell of a lot of randomness to it, as you've just seen then. I say there's lots of replays of this game online. You can have a look on YouTube, and there's quite a few replays you can find, and pretty much all the replays are the American version of the game. And we'll go, because the American version is a hell of a lot easier. As you can see, I'm pretty screwed at this point. How am I going to get past that? I don't know what the hell they did with this Japanese version. They did make it way too difficult. way too difficult. And it does pretty much ruin the game. It pretty much ruins any enjoyment of the game as well. I can't even get past this bit now. We'll give it one more try. I think it was. I'm not sure if it was the same year they actually released this in the US on the TG16. Just so you know, the TG16 is the PC Engine. Oh, god damn it. Right, anyway, that's the PC Engine version of this game. Like I said, it's got dodgy collision detection. It's very hard to hit things with your weapon. It's stupidly difficult. To the point, it's just a rip-off in places, as you've just seen. I can get a little bit further than that sometimes, but it just gets worse. Basically, it makes the game ridiculously hard. I picked up this Japanese version. I would not recommend this game at all on the Japanese version. In fact, I'm going to go as far as give it 4 out of 10, because it is pretty awful. But what we'll do is we'll swap to the American version of this game, which is a hell of a lot easier. They definitely tweaked the difficulty, and they tweaked the amount of enemies on screen as well. Where this one's just an annoyance. All the replays you ever see of this game are all the American version. So we'll pause for a second, and I'll swap to the American version of this game. One sec. Right then guys, we're back with the American version of this game. Same sort of deal. For some reason they swapped the Victor musical and the Capcom round. I've just noticed that. So we'll try the American version. This version is a lot better and a lot more playable. And a lot more fun. What I noticed with this version, there's a lot less enemies. The collision detection is still not amazing. But you don't lose so much energy when you get hit. Plus you get a lot of energy back as well. There's a lot of energy pots you can pick up, plus you can get a bigger than your energy bar. One pot will actually extend it. As you can see, there's less enemies on screen as we're talking here. See, no enemy there ready to hit you when you fall down. No enemy there either. They're not checking those staffs all over the place either. There's no enemies by here. They pretty much tweaked this game to be a lot easier. The actual fireballs here go a lot slower, and there's a lot less of them as well. Even though I still make a terrible job of actually getting through here. Oh god. I say this version of the game, I think it's probably actually worth playing. Right, here we go. Here we go to the crazy rip-off bit. So you can see straight away the bats have gone. Enemies are not crazily jumping into you and spawning in front of you to stop you getting through these levels. I don't know what that power-up does. Oh, invincibility, that's cool. See, there's a bat per there, but at least on that bit. Remember on this bit I was on, it just spawned about 5 or 6 different bats, and they just hovering above me. As you can see, the American version is a lot easier. I do think they might have tweaked this boss though, made this boss a little bit more difficult than he was on the Japanese version. What you got to do with him is basically dodge him underneath, and then hit him as he comes up. He does fire a fireball sometimes. He does try and reach up and attack you sometimes as well. It's the same boss and everything as in the Japanese version. Oh. Bosses have still got quite a lot of energy and do take a lot of hits. That would be a little bit of a complaint about this game. The bosses do take a little bit too much to kill, I think. That's it. That's the boss done. I don't think you collect a scroll in the Japanese version. At least I didn't notice it. But the idea here is basically just get your time in, hit this candle as much as possible to blow it out. It's cool you got little bonus rounds. I can't remember on the arcade whether there was bonus rounds or not. I don't know. I haven't played the arcade one for a long time. Hey, did it. Second bonus round, you got to kill these guys who run at you. I don't know, second level. This level is stupid on the Japanese one. It is ridiculous. Couldn't complete it at all. This is the bit where I got stuck and turned off and hopefully never play it again. See, it's far more manageable. This game is on American. By here as well, on the Japanese version, you go up here and there's just spear guys and stuff that just basically chuck spears and hit you. Alright. Nice full energy cap there. The music on this game is alright. It's nothing special, but it does the job. Forgot to go to a full jump there. Otherwise you do get... See, this is a much better game on the American. A lot fairer, a lot far more manageable. Let's see if I can do this platform bit. Oh, my energy's not good. Not good at all. Ooh, that was lucky. Probably gonna die by here. There's a lot of really hard enemies by here. That was lucky. Ooh, that was really lucky. At least if I die now, I'll start by here. Really need to get up there and kill all three at the top, I think. Yeah, that power up does help quite a bit. Just gonna run past these. Come on, you get. Can't imagine what the Japanese version is like on this level. Probably couldn't get to this level anyway. Probably end up pulling my hair out before I actually got here. Got the old Japanese jumping vampires. Why vampires are like that in Japanese mythology, I have no idea. Jumping vampires with prey stuck to their head. This bit's a little tricky. get that just in case. Not sure exactly what the scrolls do yet. I haven't quite worked that one out. This level's difficult. I don't know exactly where to go on it. If the best way to do it is just to run through it if I die. Just run and hope for the best. There probably is some sort of pattern you can follow to get through it. Right then, second boss. Second boss is not too difficult, it just takes a while. You basically got to stand away from it, and it spins round in circles, but you can't quite tell what type of circle it's going to spin round in. And then just hit it once, it disappears and reappears. And that's pretty much it. But got to be very careful, mind, because if you get it wrong, this thing will kill you into it. It's just a game of patience, basically. Oh, that's a tricky one. Don't know if it's going to do something then. I haven't seen that. I should have tried to attack me at the bottom. Right then, game over. Well, as you can see, guys, the Japanese version of this game is pretty much janked completely and is definitely KUKAI, because it's way too difficult. It's got so many annoying bits. It's got enemies who will spawn, who will hit you down holes. There's your weapons don't hit anything. There's lots of places where there's platforms and they'll purposely put enemies there who will either chuck stuff at you or knock you off, or and there's just too much of everything. It's just really hard to handle and it's a very annoying game. And I'm going to give it 4 out of 10 and call it definitely KUKAI. But the American version of this game is a lot better. There's less enemies on screen, which I know sounds bad, but it's less enemies on screen, makes the game a lot more manageable. There's not so many cheap deaths, and altogether it's actually not a bad little beat 'em up on American. It's much better than the Japanese. So if you do have the ability to play the TurboGrafx version and you fancy buying this game, get that version. Ignore the Japanese version, because it's pretty much terrible. So I'm going to give this one 6 out of 10 because it's not a bad little action platform game. Okay-ish music, reasonable graphics, nothing special, but hell of a lot better than the Japanese version. So I hope you like this double review, guys, and I'll catch you next time. So bye now.